At your feet, in your arms, to be with you forever. At your feet, in your arms, to be with you forever. To be with you. I bow at your feet. I lay in your arms. Oh, forever. So with the shallow, I will sing. Praises be to you forever. With the shallow, I'm gonna sing. Praises be to you forever. Oh, we say, I will sing for the rest of my days. I will sing forever. I will praise your holy name. I will love you all my days. I will worship your holy name. And I will give all to you forever. Here's the reason why. Because if I lost everything and didn't have anything, and you were the only thing, I still have everything. If I lost everything and didn't have anything, and you are the only thing, my Lord, I still have it. 'Cause tonight, you know, oh, do you believe that on tonight? It's you. Oh, the one that we can lean on, it's you. I still have. Oh, in spite of my situation, I know it's you. Oh, it's you. You never left my side, it's you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I still have everything.
You are listening to the best in gospel music on FWR, Free Worship Radio.
Welcome to Lyrics and Laughs with Leigh Hughes, where each week we spotlight your favorite artists, some of the funniest comedians, feature the latest music, and have lots of fun doing it. We've got another exciting show in store for you today. Stay locked right here on FWR Gospel.
Happy Sunday, everyone. Today's Sunday Fun Day Comedy Spotlight is none other than funny man Marcus D. Wiley, straight out of Houston, Texas. Take a listen.
A lot tonight, hopefully these jokes tonight gonna bless some of you. I'm a church boy. Most of you already know that. I'm a church kid and grew up all my life in church. And when I start reflecting back on church, I realized lying, I ain't gonna say it started in church, but they promote lying. Yeah, in church, because see, I grew up in a household where my father, he was a pastor, so my dad, he would just call me on stage. He'd just say something like, "Say, Mark, come up here and pray." I'd be like, "Hey, cuz, that's what they pay you for." I mean, why you got me praying? You know what I'm saying? Or my dad, he would say, hey, Mark, the organist ain't here. Get on the organ. I'd be like, I don't know how to play. Get on the organ. He think the spirit gonna show up. Just, now, you don't work like that, cuz. Right? But my father would always tell me stuff like, say, Mark, come sing your daddy a song. My dad was big on that. Man, come sing me a song. So from elementary, middle school, high school, I would sing every time my dad would call me up to sing. Now listen, nobody in that church ever told me, you can't sing. Liars. Nobody never said, this ain't your ministry. This ain't your gift. So I'm singing. Now, mind you, because folk never told me I couldn't sing, imagine my ego. Imagine how cocky I was when I got on that mic. Well, I graduated and went to college. When I got to college, I started hanging around with people who don't go to church. Translation, people who tell the truth. So I'm out one night with my boy Jay Sharp. His name's Johnny Sharp. We call him Jay Sharp. I'm out with Jay Sharp. We having a good time, get in late, woke up Sunday morning. I was broke. I said, man, I need some bread. The spirit hit me and said, go to your daddy church. You know, I woke up, I got the mat out of my eye. You know, it was hard waking up because back then I was living the prodigal life. You got to read your Bible to catch some of these. You got to read to catch some of these jokes. On your downtime, just read it every now and then. But I told Jay, I said, Jay, come with me to my daddy church, man. So try to give me some bread, bro. So he come to church with me. We sit in the back. My daddy get finished preaching. My daddy was like, man, my son here. Mark, he in college, man, doing a good job. I'm so proud of him. Come sing daddy a song. So I was like, nah, cuz I ain't come here for that. I'm just trying to get $20. Then the spirit hit me again and said, hey, if you sing, you're going to get more money. That's why you should listen to the spirit. So I got up there. Mind you, I've been singing here all my life. I grabbed that mic. All I did was point at the organist. He already know. He already know my jam, right? I used to sing this solo by a dude named Douglas Miller. He was singing, he had this song called Soul's Been Anchored. Y'all know it? I want to show you how I was singing. Now listen, don't listen to me. Look at me. Because the Lord gave me all type of gifts as it relates to charisma, poise, gestures, facial expressions. I got all that down. I got everything but the voice. So I want to show you how I was doing it, but look at me. Don't listen to me. So I point at the organ and see me, boom, I get up there. Though the storm keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell the night from day. Boom, 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 boom. I mean, the church just... They gonna encourage the lie. So I tell the church up, folk running, shouting, all this type of stuff. I walk off that stage, go sit down next to Jay Sharp. Jay looked at me and said, man, I got to give you your props. To know you can't sing? And still get up there? And because I never heard the truth before, I thought he was hating. Somebody missed that. Because I never heard the truth before, I thought he was hating. And everybody, you need a Jay Sharp in your life. You need somebody that's going to tell you the truth. Because of Jay Sharp, he saved me from a lifelong of auditions. Yeah, that's why you ain't seen me on Sunday Best, American Idol, all that. Jay Sharp did that.
Woo, that was hysterical and true. Everybody needs somebody who will tell you the truth. Well, up next, I have Pastor Sherard Johnson from North Carolina joining us to share some of his truth. Stay tuned for more.
Welcome, everyone. I have the privilege of having Mr. Sherard Johnson on the line with me today, calling us straight out of North Carolina. NC, stand up. Whoop, whoop. Say hello to the people, Sherard.
What's up, family? This is Sherard Johnson. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
Excited to have you. And listen, I've known you forever, a long time. We go way back. So I could easily introduce you, but I would love for you to share who you are based on what the people closest to you would say who you are. Who are you based on the people closest to you? What would they say about you?
Who am I? Well, I'm Sherard Johnson, and I'm one of the biggest servants that you'll know. That's it.
Wow. That was a mouthful. That was fully loaded in itself, because that could be a whole other conversation around being a servant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us more about what you do, like your businesses, some of the things that's happening for you on the horizon. We'd love to hear a little bit more.
So right now I'm the president and CEO of Run and Shoot RNS Sports, Inc., which is a nonprofit for at-risk youth in Durham, North Carolina. And right now we are overseeing and mentoring about 150 youth between the grades of kindergarten and 12th grade. And I started the nonprofit in remembrance of my father, who passed away in 2015. And anybody that knows me and knew my father knew how tight and how close we were. He was my basketball coach growing up. He was a phenomenal father figure to not just me, but the community that we lived in and even surrounding communities. And so when he passed away, a year later, God downloaded something in me where I wanted to help the youth in Durham. I'm from DC originally, but moved everything when I went to college and came down to Durham and decided to stay here. And I got pretty big into coaching and helping the youth, mentoring them, and, things of that magnitude. And I named it after my father. And what that was a reminder to me that no matter how big we get, no matter how big I get, that service is my first portion. So no matter how big I get, no matter how large our company gets, and how many people we impact and how much news press and things of that magnitude that we get, I always wanted to make being a servant the forefront. And my father is a reminder of that daily. And so when I call on my company or speak about my company, the first thing that you hear is Ron. It's named after Ronald Johnson. So, that's where we are right now.
What an awesome memorial. I, of course, since I've known you so long, I knew your dad, and I can attest to how amazing he was and truly significant in my life as well. Talk to us about that transition from wanting to memorialize your dad to standing up your business. Like, what was that like for you?
Interestingly enough, I actually never had the chance to grieve when it came to my father. At the time, I was 24 years old and I had just gotten into ministry. And, the best thing that I knew at the time, because I had never been trained or taught, was to stay busy and to keep going. And so, RNS Sports came at a time where, and still to this day, allows me to grieve over my father. it gives me something tangible that I can say his legacy is still in the earth. And so I get so excited about it. And when things go wrong, is, things happen. It's life. I talk about him. I talk to him still, and he really gets me through it. And just thinking about him and what he would want for me and for my life gets me through everything. So
that's really powerful. There's so many listening today, Sherard, who have experienced loss. This pandemic has been crazy on so many levels, who may not have had a chance to grieve yet. What would you say to them?
Still, don't use busy as a cover-up for grieving. Ever. Why? Because when busy stops, grief will hit you like a bag of bricks. And so stop, take time, and grieve is needed. Talk to somebody, get the help that you need sooner than later, because you never want weight to add up.
Yeah, that thing is real. I had to sit with that for a minute. I was like just processing and taking it all in, because even when we think about grief, it doesn't always mean someone passing. It could be just change. It could be the trauma from an experience like the pandemic. It could just be, the transition of being able to connect with people daily, and then all of a sudden at the flip of a switch, we're working from home, or we have to be socially distant. Like, there's so many things that one can grieve. But I really think that was such a huge message around just sitting still. I think there's power in processing and reflecting and doing what's necessary. And to your point, even if that means processing with someone else, even if it just means setting a boundary and saying, listen, I just need you to just hear me out. I don't need no advice necessarily in this moment. I just need you to just hear me. So I love the word that you just shared for folks. I think that was really powerful. I'm going to shift the conversation just a little bit, because I want to dig a little deeper into your thought around service. I know that's big for you. Like, you really were clear that is big for you. What else energizes you about ministry?
The need to help people. That's what ministry is. It's meeting the needs of the people. It's not preaching. It's not having, sowing seeds every week. That's a part of ministry, but it's not ministry. But it's just meeting the needs of the people and being a shepherd and providing watch for people's souls. And so ministry literally has become my life. And I'm proud of it, actually.
You should be. Yeah, that's amazing. Ministry has become my life. What does that look like for someone who's interested in going to the ministry or believes that they're called? What does that look like? Ministry has become my life.
It's who I am and not what I do. Every day I get up to serve somebody else. Every day I get up first to serve my wife. And then once she's great and she's good, my calling is to serve somebody else. That's where my strength comes from. And that's where my purpose lies. And so for all those that are interested in getting into ministry, remember that ministry is service first. It's to serve. It's to serve. It's not to preach. Preaching is the easy part of ministry. But can you get up and, speak life into somebody? When somebody's bills need to be paid, can you handle that? Or can you provide resources? Yeah. Can you provide resources to figure that out? Can you, when somebody that you're close to is dying, can you usher them into the presence of God the right way?
My God.
Can you bury those around you that have passed on, can you serve their family who may not have been close to you or not attend your church? Can you bury them in excellence?
My God.
Here's the last part. Can you serve those in excellence who have turned their back on you?
No plan. I'm just joking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, somebody said no. I heard it. I'm speaking for them. But that's it. And I hear you. That's the part of ministry that we have to work through, and that also is what makes us human, right? Recognizing the areas that we're still struggling with, so we can turn to God and operate in excellence for His name's sake. I love what you said. That thing is real. That thing is real to me. What I also heard you say in your sharing was, this takes time. This is an investment in people, in their lives, and there isn't always a time attached to how long you have to serve or service a family, as you mentioned, or service people. I think that's huge for folks who are really considering, this walk. It takes time, it takes investment, it takes energy, and it also takes, what I heard you say, is prioritizing where and how and whom you serve. Can you speak to that a little bit about prioritizing your service?
Absolutely. Let's be clear. My family comes first. Anybody that operates under the unction that your wife or your kids or your family is second, you're operating out of order. And that God is not in that. So let's be clear. I can't serve the community and everybody else if my household first is not taken care of. And so prioritizing my family and making sure the needs of my family are met is biblical. It's a biblical principle. And I think oftentimes as pastors and, just leaders in general, we get that misconstrued, and we think that serving everyone else is an antidote for serving your family, and it's not. It becomes disaster waiting to happen. And so prioritizing our family always comes first. And then, once your family is served in excellence, guess what? You can serve everybody else in the correct way.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Sherard, what's the greatest piece of advice you've gotten as an entrepreneur and as a ministry leader?
The greatest piece of advice that I've gotten?
Yes.
Have integrity.
Come on.
Don't don't let your gift be tainted because you don't have integrity.
Ooh.
Yeah, don't let your gift outweigh your integrity.
What does that mean? Flesh that out for us, please.
What does that mean? No matter what happens, keep your word. Behind closed doors, when you're by yourself, do what you said that you're going to do. There's so many moving pieces to that. I would say make sure that your statuses on Facebook match your inboxes.
Hold on. Can we pause there, please? You better preach to the social media ministry folks right now.
Yeah.
Pause and repeat. Can you say that one more time for us, sir?
Make sure that your Facebook statuses match your inbox.
I just heard an organ and a drum beat in the background. I don't know about you. I don't know if you heard it, but I heard an organ and a drum beat. The musicians are revving up, and in a minute, I'm going to offer where folks can send their offering to you, because you are preaching on this good line today. Have integrity is the word for today, saints. Have integrity. Were you going to say more about that? I'm sorry, I got excited. I apologize if I...
No, you're good. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
That thing tickled me. It got good to me. Because there's something there. There's something in that. And it's so interesting, like how messages can messages can be so misleading in how people show up on this social media versus how they might show up in a certain setting or circle. And we have to be mindful of it. We really do. It's our brand that's being represented. It is how people perceive us, right? And so just having all of that in mind, especially for those going into business like yourself, those in ministry, right? And understanding how your brand is impacted by your social media messaging. We're going to have you back just so you can unpack all of that. But we want to learn more about you today and RNS Sports for sure today. I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Aside from your father's passing, what was the hardest thing you've had to face in your adult life, and how did you manage through it?
The hardest thing that I had to face in my adult life, this is going to sound really weird, mustering up the courage to marry my wife.
Say more, please.
So, I mean, I'm a transparent guy. A lot of people won't be transparent, but, you know, being completely transparent and honest, I didn't know if I was ready to provide everything that God said that I could to my wife. And so mustering up the courage, and not only just that, but piggybacking off of what I just said, having the integrity to serve my wife in excellence for the rest of our lives. Like that's something that I wanted to make sure that I could handle prior to marrying her. And so one of the things that I made sure prior to marrying her was that I was ready to do that. I don't believe that getting married is a public thing. We do it for, you have a wedding for everybody else and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, when those bills are paid and that the dances are done and all that stuff, you have to go home and actually practice the principle of marriage. And so I wanted to make sure that for the rest of my life that I could uphold what it means to be a godly husband, to be a godly man, and to serve my wife with excellence and integrity.
I just got quiet so people could just sit with that for a second, because that rocked me back on my heels for a moment. Like, really thinking about whether or not we could do this forever.
Correct.
Okay. You better come on with the heavy nuggets. Come on here, dropping these pearls to the people. Woo. That was some good stuff right there. All right, single people, did y'all hear that? Mustering up the courage and really considering whether or not this is something we could do forever. Now, I don't believe that what you said should be anything that will scare people off. But hopefully single folks or those who are looking to remarry or get married, then you heard the power in what Sherard just said around just assessing yourself and recognizing that you may not be perfect coming into this, but at least be whole. This is what I extracted from what you said. And be whole enough to be honest enough to say, listen, here's what I hope our future will look like, and my hope is that we can do this together. I love it. Go ahead. I ain't mad.
Yeah,
I ain't mad at
right.
I ain't mad at it at all. I love it. Yeah. Now, before we connected today, Sherard, I asked you to send me 2 of your favorite songs, and we're going to feature those songs today. One of them was Graves into Gardens by Corinne Hawthorne, and we're going to play that in a few moments. But tell us a little bit about why this song in particular is one of your favorites.
So right now, I'm really in a worship vein. And so the words of the song really resonate in where I am in my life and just how I'm serving And so this song is very powerful. It's originally done by Elevation Worship, but Corinne Hawthorne redid it and did a phenomenal job. But I'm a worshiper at heart. That's what I do. And I don't believe that you can lead people into worship publicly without doing it privately. And so I sent you a couple of songs that are near and dear to my heart, but they're songs that I listen to on a daily in my time in the morning of prayer and things of that magnitude that get me going, that get my day started, and really that stay in my spirit throughout the day. So that's one of my favorite songs right now.
I love it. And we're going to share with the people, folks. Let's go ahead, tune in, get real close while we listen to Graves into Gardens by Corinne Hawthorne. We'll be right back after this song.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. Man's empty praise and treasures that fade were never enough. And then you came along and put me back together. And now all my desires are all satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing is better than you. Yeah. Oh, I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures, my flaws. You've seen them all, and you still call me friend. Yeah, because the God of the mountain is still the God of the valley. And there is no place your mercy and grace can find me again. Yeah. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, I know it's true. I know it's true. Lord, there's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Yeah. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you.
everyone. That was Graves into Gardens by Corinne Hawthorne, one of Sherard Johnson's favorite songs, who is being spotlighted on today's episode. That song blesses me, sir. Yes, before we went into playing the song, you talked about how you're in a worship vein, and that thing just had me here with my hands up, lifted in worship. Thank you for sharing that. And Corinne Hawthorne, we appreciate you for ministering through this song for us today. So we're back. And Sherard, I'm going to take the conversation in a different direction, sir. We've been talking about service. We've been talking about integrity. We've talked about who you are. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I play basketball. And this is going to sound really crazy to you too, but anytime that I can impart something into somebody else, I'm having fun. Like, seriously, like, that sounds crazy and it sounds like hyper spiritual, but no, like, that's fun for me. Being able to sow into people, that's fun. So I play basketball still. I work out, watch basketball games, sports. I read. So those are fun. Those are fun things for me.
I love that. And look at you still being in service and how you can impart into other people. Go ahead. That thing is it's who you are, and it shows up even in your responses, and I celebrate that. I celebrate it. I heard you mention earlier that you work with at-risk youth. Talk to us about how you impart into that population of at-risk youth.
Yeah. So one of the things that I talk about often is the city of Durham, and I'm from DC originally, as I stated earlier, but Durham has become my home, and it's a passion of mine. And Durham is it's 40% poverty stricken, which again, a lot of people are like, well, that's everywhere else. It is everywhere else. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's not, but Durham specifically has pricked my heart because the youth here don't necessarily have the resources to get out. One of the things that I tell people all the time is you can have the resources and not get out. That's something different. But to be ignorant of something and to be held accountable for that is not fair. And so one of the things that I made it my business to do, not just with youth, but just people in general here in Durham, is to make sure that people are provided with resources, but then provided with the ability to get out. I want to make sure that you have the information that it takes to apply and get out of the situation that you're in.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Durham. Yep. Durham is home. I love it. We service youth on a daily basis. Not only do we service youth, but we service adults too, because I believe, number one, you can't service adult or service youth for 8 hours a day. Want to know why? Because they have to go home. So you have to be able to provide. You got to be able to provide resources for the adults as well, for the parents, because those are the ones that they have to go home to. And if they're not going home to something positive or something great, they're going to come back the next day the same way that they came. And so my job as a leader in this city is to make sure that I'm providing wraparound services, not only youth, but parents as well.
Outstanding. What are some examples of those services that you mentioned, those wraparound services, for people who are listening today?
For instance, so we use tools. So one of the tools that we use, we have different projects with RNS Sports that we use to bait people in. And one of those things is called Project 300. Project 300 is an initiative that I started here in the city of Durham that puts 300 brand new pairs of shoes on the feet of underprivileged kids during that back to school time. That's the tool. Yeah, that's the bait. So, we have thousands of people that come get a brand new pair of shoes. Now, of course, We just don't have the infrastructure to service everybody. But what we do is we choose 15 of those families that come, and for the whole year, from August to August, we provide wraparound services. We provide information. We figure out the situations that they're in, and the goal is the following year that they're on the side with us serving the community rather than being the ones being served. And so some of those things that we do provide is like parents, a lot of parents, you'll notice that a lot of people started a degree but couldn't finish it because of finances or things of that magnitude. And so we provide, we partner with community colleges here in the city where parents, low-income parents, can go finish their degrees free of charge, things of that magnitude, take classes, get different certifications, things like that. And so those are the things that we're trying to do. We're not just trying to give away shoes, because I feel like that will be doing a disservice. That's coddling your behavior right now. But no, with what we give you, there's a resource behind it to push you out of what you're in.
And you can use those shoes to step right on to your next level, to your next dimension. Exactly. Huh?
Listen. Or you can use those shoes to walk your tail over to Wake Tech to go to class.
Oh, right, that too. How
That's
about
right.
that? Come on for the practical help.
Yeah.
I love it. Now, were you going to say more, please? I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I mean, so that's where we are. That's one of the projects that we do. And then, of course, we use basketball as a tool as well. One of the things that we've noticed about kids and just even as adults, the adults that we serve, a lot of them have never left the city. So you can't want something when you've never seen it. And so one of the things that we do is take pride in making sure that the kids that are playing basketball with us, we take them outside of Durham so that they can see that there is something outside of Durham. That sounds minuscule to a lot of people, but to those kids and to those families that have never crossed those lines and never been out of the state of North Carolina, that stuff is huge. So we've taken our kids to Las Vegas and Florida and Kentucky and DC and Maryland, and taking them on college tours and to see different monuments and things of that magnitude, so that they understand that there's a world outside of Durham. And that's one of the things that I pride myself in, and that our nonprofit prides itself in. We want to change the topographical landscape of what's happening in Durham, and not even just Durham, but across the United States as a whole.
Come on, SAT word, topographical. Come on, I'm going to have to look that up in 2 seconds, but you better teach us today, topographical. I know, I love the work you're doing. I'm making light of it because I'm crazy, but I love the work that you're doing, and I totally understood what you meant, just like so many others on the line today. But I first of all am excited to hear that you're doing this and literally walking out what's true for you in terms of servitude and being able to impart in others, and you're living it out loud. And that's not, always something people get to do on a daily basis. There's so many people listening today that have ideas, that have dreams, but don't know where to start, don't know, what resources are available to them. And I just think it's amazing that you've been able to step into that place and understand what that looks like. And maybe in a future show, we'll have you back so you can talk more about sort of what resources you leverage to kind of get to where you are today in your walk and in your business path. But definitely want to use today to celebrate and spotlight RNS Sports and all that you're doing there in Durham. That's amazing. I have another question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
This is one question that I ask all of my guests, Sherard. So I'm gonna toss it over your way. If you could share one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't know, what would that be?
the one thing that I wish people knew about me that they don't know.
Yep. What would that be?
I'm competitive. I'm really competitive. I'm competitive as they come. So, I mean, even literally, I don't care if it's basketball. I don't care if it's church. I don't care what it is. I'm competitive, and I'm gonna try to beat you. I'm just being honest. Even with my wife, I don't let her win. When we go on date nights every week, I don't ever let her beat me, ever. Yeah, I'm as competitive as they come.
Okay,
Yeah.
wifey, we gotta see some support, sis.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And if you come down, beat you too.
I know. I caught that.
Yep.
I read between those lines. I was crystal clear.
Yep.
No mercy, honey. We're gonna win. I love it. I love it. I'm not mad at that at all. Well, that was my fun question for the day. Tell us how folks can learn more about RNS Sports and all that you're doing. What are your websites? Where can we find you on social media? Talk to us.
So you can visit our website at www.rnssportsnc.com. That's www.rnssportsnc as in North Carolina.com. You can also follow us on all social media outlets at RNS Sports NC. You can also follow me at I am Sherard J.
Now, what if someone wants to make a donation or maybe help out with some of the shoes that you mentioned earlier? What can folks do to help you in that way?
So you can either make a donation via the website, or you'll see us post a lot on social media and different things of that magnitude. Send us a direct message if you want to support, and we can send you links and things of that magnitude on how to give and how to donate.
Outstanding. Now, a little birdie told me that you're also starting a church. Did you want to talk about that today?
I am. And it's interesting because I'm actually down here, and I'm not in Durham right now. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Bishop T.D. Jace's leadership conference. And so that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm down here, to hone in on and get as many resources as possible, make a lot of different connections, because I want to be the best me, the best version of me, so that I can do the best version of ministry for the people of God.
Wow.
And so, I'm down here just getting different resources, gleaning from different leaders, and just honestly, I'm here to get filled up. One of the things that I do and make it my business to do is not just on Sundays, but, throughout the week, I make sure that I get empty. And that sounds crazy, but I feel like the goal of church is to get filled up on Sunday mornings so that throughout the rest of the week, you can go out and fill other people up. And once you come back on Sunday, and once you come back on Sunday, you should be empty. People say, well, I'm empty and I'm this. Yeah, that's the goal. If your goal is not to be empty throughout the week, then you're not really pouring as much as you think. And so that's one of the things I'm here doing, is making sure that I'm getting poured into, so that, for this year until next year when I come back here, I'm pouring as much as possible, pouring information that I did not prior to, or that I might not have been privy to.
That's an awesome perspective to have, and I don't know that I've heard it put that way before. To get empty throughout the week, so that on Sunday you can come and get full again. Wow, that was. See, folks, now that's why I asked him about his church. So, in case you want to follow Sherard's ministry, Pastor Johnson's ministry, then you can also learn how to get in touch. So how can folks connect with you on a ministry level, your church or your ministry, and
So
share a little bit more about that.
So we're still in the preliminary process. I'm putting right now, just being transparent, and you guys are the first to know. I haven't announced it anywhere. Nobody knows, but I'm in the preliminary stages of putting my executive team and my staff together. We will be launching in 2023, but we'll be starting our executive meetings this year. And so anybody that's interested in, building with a ministry that's going to be here to restore the hurt and to disciple the lost, then I think this is the ministry for you. And you can connect with me via social media at I am Sherard J. That's SHERARD. And I would love to have a conversation with you and to cast vision so that you understand where we're going. God showed me that this is going to be, it's not about being a big ministry. It's not about having millions of people or thousands of people follow you, but we are going to be a mega ministry. And what does that mean? It means that we're going to do mega ministry. We're going to be out in the streets. We're going to do a lot for the community and the city of Durham and the state of North Carolina as a whole.
Well, congratulations, sir, and thank you for the exclusive. Y'all heard it here first.
Yeah.
On Lyrics and Laughs with Lay Hughes, Pastor Johnson is casting vision and ready to have folks join and partner with him in doing just that. So please be sure you connect with him on social media. I love that you invited folks to direct message you. So there's also opportunities for people to have direct conversation with you. And then, of course, if you want to support many of the other things happening with RNS Sports, you also shared that as well. I am thrilled to have you here. As we wrap, Pastor Sherard, would you give the folks an encouraging word, something else? You said so much today that was so powerful, and I anticipate that many people will have to go back and listen to this again because there was so much you shared that was so impactful and powerful. But what is a final encouraging word that you can give the people before we close out today?
I want to say this to everybody across the world, across the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, North Carolina, wherever you might be listening from. Keep going. Don't stop here. God has so much more for you. And I want you to understand that if you stop now, somebody else's future might be in jeopardy because of the stop that you made right here. And so I want to encourage you today. It's a minute, but I want you to get back up and I want you to retry it again.
Whew. Did y'all hear that wind of God come through? He slipped through where I am, honey. Thank you, Pastor Sherard. We appreciate you sharing that encouraging word. Keep going. And I think that's a perfect tie-in to that second song that you shared. And we're going to close out with that song, Come a Little Closer by Todd Delaney. Before we play that, were there any other thank yous or comments that you wanted to make before we close today? I wanted to give you the floor, sir.
I just want to thank you for inviting me on. This has been phenomenal. This has just been a time of refreshing, to be honest with you. And so thank you for sharing your platform with me. And, prayerfully we'll come back again soon.
Oh, thank you. And of course, I have dropped at least 2 more show topics that require you to return.
Yes.
So I got you booked in my mind at least twice. So so you can trust you coming back. I appreciate you so much. Yes, of course. Thank you. We appreciate you, sir. And continue to have fun down there in Charlotte at Pastor Jake's leadership conference. Looking forward to gleaning, that's the word I heard you say earlier, gleaning from you on some of the good tidbits that you have to offer as you continue to impart into those around you. Again, thank you so much for being here. And folks, we thank you for listening and tuning in to another amazing episode of Lyrics and Laughs with Lay Hughes, me, yours truly. We're closing out today with Come a Little Closer by Todd Delaney. Stay tuned for more.
Let's go for it. Come on.
Yep, come on. We summon you, Holy Spirit. Tell them come a little closer. Come a little closer. Tell them come a little closer. Come a little closer so we can see where you are. Tell them come on, Holy Ghost. Come a little closer. Oh. Tell them come a little closer. Come a little closer so we can see where you are. Come on. All we want is to be in the room with you, Jesus. All we need is to spend a little time with you. It's my desire to shout your praises, and nothing matters as long as you fill the room. So come a little closer. Come on. Let's get to come on down here, say. Come a little closer so we can see where you are. Come on now. Come a little closer. Yes, sir. Tell them to come on now. Come a little closer so we can see. It feels good, say. All we want is to be in the room with you, Jesus. All we need is our desire. Yeah. Shout your praise. And nothing matters. Nothing matters. Now stretch out your hands. Say, come on now. Come a little closer. Yes, sir. Come on, fill the room. Come a little closer so we can. Yeah. Come on, God. Come a little closer. Tangible presence of the Lord. Come on, fill the room. Come a little closer so we can. One more time. Come on, Lord. Come a little closer. Oh, God, yeah. Tell them, come on, fill the room. Come a little closer so we can see where you are. Come on, fill the room. Come a little closer. Yes, God. Oh, my God. Come a little closer so we can. I feel good about it. Let me see you clap now. Let me see you clap now. Oh, we really just want to be where the Father is. Oh. Shake this atmosphere with your praise. Come on. There's healing flowing, so we only want to be where you are. Power flowing, so we only want to be where you are. Breakthrough flowing, so we only want to be where you are. If you want to be where he is, stretch out in the room. Be where you are. There's healing flowing, so we only want to be where you are. I said power flowing, so we only want to be where you are. Breakthrough flowing, so we only want to be where you are. Come on, Kiki, sing. There is healing in the room, that's why I really want to be. Deliverance in the room, that's why I really want to be where you are. There is peace in the room, that's why I really want to be. I gotta be where you are. There's joy in the room, that's why I really want to be. There's power in the room, that's why I gotta be where you are. I'm gonna chase it after you. I gotta be where you are. I gotta be where you are. I gotta be. Holy Spirit, revive us. Send your power and fire. I'm like a ship without a sail. Hey, let me see you clap your open your mouth, let out a shout in the room.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lyrics and Laughs with Lay Hughes. Meet me here each and every Sunday for more artist spotlights, great music, and plenty of laughs. Throughout the week, you can follow me on Instagram at Lyrics, Laughs, and Lay, or download the FWR Gospel app for endless music and inspiration. Remember, love conquers all. See you next week.